Welcome to Empyrean's Oracle. Today we are going to be doing a tarot reading and we're just going to see what comes out. So I'm just going to start with a Power of Surrender card. I usually end the readings with this, but let's see what comes out. I'm just going to take the two that I see. 4 came out, but 2 made themselves more prominent than the other ones. You have surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. Surrender to the wisdom of your body. Listen to your body's messages about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. I believe this is a continuation of the last reading. Only because when I was cleaning up from the last reading, the initial card, I forgot to put it away. And then also, there are just words on these cards that are reminiscent of the reading that I just did. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm just going to read it as a continuation. I'll make sure to put part 2. But the last reading was about having a massive purpose that's going to take years, many years to unfold. And for that reason, someone may feel like they're always sitting on their hands. But the reason why they feel that way is because, like I said, their purpose is going to take many years to unfold, which means that there's nothing really like massive to do on a day-to-day basis. Everything you do on a day-to-day is going to add up to something big, but it's just small things that are being done every day, right? So surrender to non-action. Let's read more into that. What does non-action look like? Because spirit may have a different version of, like, a different understanding of that than we do. And spirit's way of non-action may still be like doing a little bit more, whereas us, we think of non-action as like non-action, like doing nothing. How does spirit see non-action? How does spirit see non-action? We have the 5 of Cups, regret. This card came out in the last reading. Maybe having a lot of feelings that you haven't processed. Yeah, so there's still healing that needs to be done in this period, in this preparation period we were talking about in the last reading. So this preparation period requires a lot of healing. That's why it says, the second card says, surrender to the wisdom of your body. You might have a lot of pent-up emotion. Listen to your body's messages about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. Forward. So not only do you need to heal emotions that are coming up for you in this time, it's also important for you to do that because your emotions are going to be your guide. They're going to let you know if a situation feels right or if it doesn't. We have judgment. In the Britt's Third Eye Tarot, the depiction of judgment is vastly different than the typical Rider-Waite Tarot depiction. In this depiction, there's like a really big eye. Like you see this person's third eye. And it's like I just said, how your emotions are going to be your guide. They're going to let you know if a situation is right or not right. It's going to grant you better discernment. So this healing period, it's going to cause you to be more in touch with your emotions. That's why it's so important for spirit to have you or put you in this preparation period. There's still a lot to be done. Like I said, non-action for us means literally doing nothing, but spirit has a different definition of that. So I'm happy I asked that. What else can this non-action do for this person? What else can this non-action do for this person? Strategy. Like I said, in non-action, spirit has a different definition of that than we do. This is your time to strategize. Okay? And in this photo, there are like coins, but then there's also like a pen and a compass, and then a key and a scroll. So yeah, this preparation period, you're going to be planning out how you're going to get to point A from point A to point B. But this is also a period where you want to be strategic about your money. You want to find ways to put yourself in a better financial position. Maybe you want to write more, have a journal. Oh, this card even says journal log. So yeah, create a journal of some sort. And with the log, that can mean many things. Like maybe if you're working on your health, maybe you want to make a food log. Maybe if you read tarot, maybe you want to make a tarot log. Like it's just something about you having a written documentation of what you're doing that might make you feel more productive, but it can also maybe demonstrate to spirit that you're serious about this work and that you're serious about this preparation period. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, non-action. It may seem like non-action, but there's more to it than that. Okay, spirit. Tell me more about this surrender to the wisdom of your body. You have the Two of Pentacles. Maybe juggling two truths. I don't even usually read the Two of Pentacles that way. I think the reason spirit wants you to tune in with your emotions is because you're someone who sort of lives life in the middle. Like, you don't really live on one extreme or the other. But that can sort of be difficult when you're dealing with a situation where you have to determine, is a person good for you? Is the situation good for you? Because you may be inclined to stick with that person or situation because you're so accustomed to holding both the good and the bad at the same time. But there are still times when you need to leave. Okay, so I think that tuning into the wisdom of your body and, tuning into your own emotions is going to help you realize that, hey, I can understand that there's good and bad here, but I can also understand that there is overwhelmingly more bad than good, and I might be trying to find balance where there is none. Okay. So yeah, tuning into your body is going to help you recognize that despite the fact that you're someone who tries to be nuanced and balanced, that there are times when you have to make difficult decisions that maybe removes a person from your life or removes you from a situation or whatever. You have the Ten of Cups. Yeah, but it's going to help you get to your beautiful, happy ending, okay? So don't think that you are, putting yourself in a situation that is bad for you. You tuning into your body is going to help you be in situations that you're meant to be in, okay? Then we have the Tower. So yeah, it's going to shake things up. It's going to be difficult. Of course it will. When you're making decisions that are as difficult as, decisions that could potentially cut a person you love out of your life or remove yourself from a situation that you love dearly, like, that's difficult. But sometimes those things need to happen, and you need to have the discernment to say, you need to have a certain level of discernment where you're able to say, hey, I love this person or the situation, but I have to leave. Like, this isn't good for me anymore. Okay. And like I said, it's a beautiful thing that you are so nuanced, but sometimes it can be like your downfall because it can put you in situations where you're more likely to see the good than the bad because you're trying to be balanced. But there are some situations where you have to focus on the red flags. Okay. Let's get an energy oracle for us. Surrender to the wisdom of your body. How can they surrender to the wisdom of their body? How can they do more of that? Ooh! Oh my God, all the cards almost fell. We have Man holding a heart. And then envy. I also saw envy, but I'm not going to take it. So how can they surrender to the wisdom of their body? Man holding a heart. So this could be talking about like a love relationship coming in. A love relationship. Yeah. Oh, a romantic relationship. I think that's going to help you surrender to the wisdom of your body. Maybe this person is also spiritual and they can maybe give you some advice about tuning into that sort of wisdom. But yeah. So like I said, you have a big purpose, but it really all comes down to what you're doing in the day-to-day. Don't focus so much on, oh my God, I know I have this big purpose, but aren't I supposed to be doing something massive? No. Small things lead up to massive changes. Remember that. Okay? So that's basically what your life is going to look like. It's going to look like incremental, small changes that lead up to you being this healer of the ages that we spoke about in the previous reading. Okay? I love you. Bye.